A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show. We're back. Did you miss us? It's been a couple of days, but life happens, you know?
It does.
It does.
Fucking snowflakes.
So that means you get
fucking
us
snowflakes. That's
Yeah.
why we weren't on the air.
literal ones, though.
Yeah, actual snow.
Fell from the sky. But yeah, so apologies, but you get double the dosage of A2theK this
Yay.
week, because you'll see this on Monday, and we're still going to record on Wednesday, so you get us on Thursday as well. So
Not to give you the intimate details of our scheduling.
aren't you lucky?
But,
I know. The secret.
we're going to record Wednesday and you'll see it Thursday. Maybe Friday. Depends how quick we are.
Yeah, depends how lazy we're feeling. But Anthony, coming up tonight on the Ringside Report. It's not as fast anymore. I always forget that. That was long even.
Wait, what?
What? Bryan Danielson set to retire.
MJF.
Backlash. Yeah.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman faces backlash after throwing a drink as a child.
It's like we've never been away. Vince McMahon shows up backstage at Raw sporting a new look.
FTR confirmed long-term AEW contract, or do they?
Tease.
That's add that little bit at the end.
Kenny Omega set to return to singles competition.
Chris Hero set to become a matchmaker for West Coast Pro Wrestling.
I need a hero. Ahmed Johnson set to return to wrestling, Anthony.
Kind of.
Maybe.
Sort of.
Clickbaity as fuck, but
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Brian Cage, is he set to leave AEW? Question mark.
WWE tried to legalise gambling on fixed match
On
outcomes.
things we know the answers to. Fucking brilliant. Is AEW getting a third TV show?
What?
No,
And-
I mean, they can't even break 1 million views. How could they possibly get
Don't
another
be
show?
one of them. And WWE announced the next 3 premium live events after WrestleMania all take place outside of America. Global. Anthony, when's all this coming up?
It's all coming up right fucking now.
Yes, it is. One of these days. It's like we don't want to swear, but we've already sweared about 4 times in the intro anyway, so you kind of
Really?
just... Yeah. I don't
I know through that fucking at the end there.
No, we fucking have.
Nah,
I said fuck before.
right, but we didn't fucking start it that way.
And I will, however, never use the word. So, clickbaity. We are. What have we become? Now, anyone who saw Dynamite on Wednesday will have seen Bryan Danielson himself, pretty epic promo, but essentially saying that he needs to, he's going home, basically. So, what does it all
Where is
mean?
home?
With Brie Bella.
I mean,
sweet home.
isn't there some belief, though, that this means he's returning to maybe his roots in wrestling?
Well, what does it all mean, Basil? So it could mean a couple of things, right? So is he going to go back to Ring of Honor? Is he going to go back to WWE?
He's CM Punk in it, isn't he? Maybe I'll go back to Ring.
I call Cabana. You know, like at the time, everyone loved the pipe bomb, didn't they? But if you watch it back now, it's like a bit of a dork, isn't he? It's like I'm breaking the fourth wall. I call Cabana.
He's you're gonna upset him now. He's gonna go onto Twitter and I'm
Sorry, Phil. But yeah, so is he going back to WWE, or is he just actually? Is this it? Has he had enough? Is he retiring, Anthony? And the fact is,
it's like took a loss to MJF, so now I'm taking my toys home. Doesn't really make it. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. But
I think a lot of people were hoping he'd have a run as world champ for AEW before that. I know a lot of people were quite obviously spoilers. We'll go into that when we cover it. But you know, a lot of people were hoping for a different result at Revolution.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because since he's come in, you think he would have been or spent more time around that main event picture. But by all accounts, I think it's at his own request, at the behest of Mr. Danielson.
Yeah, because he just wanted to kick people in the fucking head or something.
Kick people's heads in, I think was it. Yeah. And I don't want to sound apropos. I don't know why I'm just saying all big words, but I'm just codying this bitch up. But yeah, so it's a very mysterious promo. Like no one really knows what it means. But could you imagine if
not even Daniel?
Like surely this isn't the end, is it?
I wouldn't have
hell
thought
of
so.
a way
It'd be
to
strange.
Go out.
Yeah.
So
because
I don't know.
even if this was meant to be like his finish, then you think they'd maybe signpost that a bit more so we could like appreciate it.
Yeah.
In that way, if you know what I mean.
Maybe.
As daft as that
I know
sounds.
he's said, hasn't he, now that he's obviously got kids and stuff that the stuff is health issues and stuff he's had in the past, that he's going to be winding up relatively soon. But then at the same time, he then also says, I fucking love this. I'm going to do it forever. So it's one of those.
It took me out of the game for 7 years. I'm making up for it.
Yeah. But, to your point, could this mean when he says he's going home is that he's going to show up in Ring of Honor? I don't know what to make of Ring of Honor stuff, Like...
Well, we won't know soon because you have to pay for it, and I'm not doing. So.
Well, yeah. But it's back, isn't it? And it was kind of a big deal-ish at the time. Tony's bought Ring of Honor. What did it mean? But then we had to put up with it on AEW every week, and that felt a bit off. But now they've obviously, spoilers. It looks like Eddie Kingston is going to be working there now.
I feel like they've successfully managed to upset the Ring of Honor fans and the AEW fans
simultaneously.
Bravo. Which is impressive in a way.
So, strange one, but
it needs to do what it's doing now, where they go, it's going to be its own thing. Right? It needs to do that.
Yeah.
But
it's a hell of a way to do it, isn't it? They've got Claudio over there, they've brought in Eddie Kingston, who's a massive fan favourite. If they get Danielson over there as well, people will be like, well, that's a lot of people's favourite wrestlers. Honestly, right there.
If Danielson goes over there, I think that will be him having a bit of a retirement tour, if you will. I think he'll have a stint. So go back to your roots, win the Ring of Honor World Championship before you finish off. I think that would be.
He also wants to do Japan again, doesn't he? So maybe Tony's thinking, well, we can't put him on AEW every week if he's going to go to Japan. So let's put him in Ring of Honor for a bit, let him do Japan, and then he can come back and finish off.
So no, I don't think he's done by any means.
Yeah, it's a good job he didn't clickbait the fuck out of this. I'm about to say, Bryan Danielson retiring.
I know, right? I mean, you did put a question mark on it.
That's how we get out of it.
So MJF salted a kid. Nah, I shouldn't have laughed at that actually, but I laugh at the fact that to me, and I don't know, like, is it not obviously a work?
Right.
Like,
so
he happened to grab a drink, throw it at a kid's torso who happened to be wearing like 4 or 5 fucking layers.
It's practically
and sat nowhere near no one.
Poncho, right? Yeah, let's be honest.
Right, and everyone is about 2 feet away from the little kids, right? And then we're all like, oh, nah, it wasn't aware.
Well, Anthony, Sean Ross
we've apologised, and Tony Khan has said he's
Sean Ross said it was real. Damn it! So that means we have to believe it. I honestly,
but here's the thing.
I can't see how it's real.
Here's the thing. Right, I understand SRS has got insiders. He's got insiders. Yeah. So he gets scoops and such like that. But if they've all chose to, keep this as a work, but like pretend shoots, because Tony Khan was adamant in the subsequent press conference that it happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a work, and MJF has been told off for it. But then they proceeded to have like MJF sort of still not really seem that sorry and be like, oh yeah, he salted the earth, that kid and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know, it still feels very worky. But, for me, I understand if like SRS is going like, well, it's been reported that it wasn't, and it wasn't a plant, and it was genuine.
It wasn't a plant, it was a kid.
Well, maybe
otherwise
he's just
watering a plant.
But I don't know. For me, it's like, what? Like, am I just behind the times on style, or do you normally wear a t-shirt over a hoodie?
Yeah.
To me, it looks like it's like, all right, put the extra layer on, and then everyone will back up a little bit, and reduce the splash or whatever. I don't know. But I could be entirely wrong. It felt like an obvious, like, as a heel thing we can do. We put a plant in the audience and you throw water at them. And,
well, that's a a trope as old as time, if you will.
Trope as old as time.
The heel's favourite thing to do, right? So it baffles me because, firstly, I 100% think this looks like it's fake as fuck, right? I hate saying, it's work, it's a shoot, whatever. Right? It doesn't look real. The kid looks like a plant. We're not going to get past this now, right? But, like, as you said, all the signs are there. His mother's sat...
He needs to make like a plant.
10 metres away from him. He's literally sat on his own in a fucking poncho. And Maxwell throws a drink and it hits him in the chest. And people are outraged, right? Well, firstly, right, it's see-through. So it looks like water. People are saying, no, it's tequila. In which case, fair play, chick. You've got a fucking pint of tequila there, so good on you, right? But say all of this, is real. Right? And he has just took a drink, and it happens to be an alcoholic drink, and throw it at a kid. I'm still not that arsed.
It's a bottle, isn't it?
I'm not being funny.
If he's grabbed a bottle,
no,
right?
It's like a plastic cup.
Oh, but if you I don't know.
But can I make one point? This has happened after the kid sat there and watched John Moxley carve someone's head open with a fork. Is this really the worst thing of the night?
Fair.
Right.
But did Moxley go and throw blood at him? No.
Practically, it's splattered everywhere, right? But I don't know. People are just up in arms.
The funny thing is they're up in arms, but regardless of, like, let's say I'm completely wrong and this was real, right? MJF's desired effect was to get people worked up.
Yeah.
And people got worked up.
Well, exactly. Right.
So
he's a masterful heel. So
it kind of doesn't matter because he got what he wanted out of it.
Yeah.
He got people riled up.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like, you pay to go to a wrestling show. It's like going to SeaWorld and sitting in the front row and going, I got splashed. You're in the splash zone, motherfucker, right? Yeah. So same with this shit. You've gone to a wrestling show, right? He's probably been fucking splattered by blood.
By all accounts,
probably.
right? By all accounts, this kid, right? They've more than, like, and I'm not saying you can condone your wrestlers acting this way if it genuinely happens, right? But this kid's like, he got to go backstage, he got to meet people, he got all sorts of, he got some free merch, right? I'm half tempted to go to an event and throw water at his fucking self, right? At this point, like,
I wonder if that's why Karrion Kross did it that time. But right, this kid could be a genius, right? What if, right? This was all meant to happen. He's dressed up and everything, and then he still cried. And then they're like, oh, so he's got the best of all worlds then. Do you know what I mean? Imagine. But yeah, regardless, whether it was real, whether
the kid's like AEW world champion, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, to replica belt?
Is it?
Oh.
Right. I see. But I don't know.
Oh, right. Okay, Carl didn't put it in the image, whatever.
But you can kind of see it. But yeah, I'm calling bullshit. But even if it wasn't, everyone who's gone fucking out of their minds about it, come on.
Yeah. And, like, I feel like it took away from the fact that, like, MJF did a masterful job of pretending to lose his shit and eat pickles, which I thought was cracking stuff.
I loved that whole thing. I'm not even gonna lie. So the next thing to mention, Anthony, is Vinnie Mac was backstage at Raw. When you see this, it's going to come out Monday. So depending on when you watch this, we're on about the one where Cena was there, right?
Apologies.
So the one that's just been, and everyone was like, he's back in creative. But by all accounts, he was there to visit Cena. Which would make sense because they've got a great relationship. Yeah. But interestingly, what was reported is he was sporting dyed black hair and a moustache, somewhat resembling Gomez Adams. So do you think, because Vince has got nothing to do now, he's just been sat watching Netflix doing the Wednesday dance and gone, that looked brilliant. I feel like
this is clearly a board man. Or someone who's really trying to hide from the law.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry, Vince doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah, for crimes he may or may not have committed, supposedly.
I quite like this concept. I want him to keep rocking up with random shit he's done. It's like, he's got a mohawk this time.
I would love it. He's like, he comes out with full-on ear piercings and everything. Just like, what up? But yeah, by all accounts anyway, he was only there to visit Cena, so everyone can stop losing their minds.
I love the fact that running WWE is what stopped him from dyeing his hair all these years.
I know, yeah.
He just never had the time, did he? Clearly.
I know. But yeah, now everyone can stop losing their minds, Anthony, because, you know, Triple H is the best.
Yep.
Don't get Vince back. The guy who did Bloodline, the guy who did everything.
There was another thing. I don't think we covered it on the news. I'm going to ignore that. The other thing, like, while we're moaning about Triple H slightly, they were saying about, like, Karrion Kross is going to get one last chance. It's like, why are they acting like it's his fault?
I know, yeah.
It's like, you got one last chance to make this work, Karrion. It's like, all right, are you going to dress me like a fucking gladiator this time? Or, like...
What's next?
It's like, yeah, Triple H, the saviour, still hasn't managed to get Karrion Kross over, but it's Karrion's fault.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
I mean, he's not managed to get many people over, unfortunately. Like...
Sami Zayn?
What are they even called? B-Fab, Top Dollar, all them. What are they called? But they haven't got over. Brought back Bronson Reed.
Shit, what are they... Hang on, that's going to bug the hell out of me. We're going to have to stop the show. What are they called?
We now
Hit Row.
Commence Anthony Google's thing.
Hit Row. Hit Row. You know, row. B squared and K-Fab and that, yeah.
Like that would get them over. Why aren't they called that? That's what would work. But yeah, anyway, just kidding, Trips. We love you, pal. You do some awesome stuff. But yeah.
No, yes, look, this is the thing. I think I think that's the bit that makes us react that way, because it's not that Triple H is bad by any means. He's done some brilliant stuff and continues to do so, but it's the fact that the decision was like Vince was just losing his shit and he's the reason that everything was bad
Yeah.
and Triple H has fixed it is just a total false narrative, isn't it?
Well, exactly. And don't get me wrong, have the shows been more enjoyable? Yes. But have we been coming up to the Rumble and Mania where it always gets more enjoyable? Yes. Like I said, we'll judge Triple H in the lull after WrestleMania. Let's see what happens then.
Yeah. Don't judge me by my Mania season. Judge me by my lull.
Yes. I love it.
So, Carl, FTR. Now, for those of you who've watched Revolution, and we are going to talk about it later on in the show, but for those of you who already watched Revolution, you'll know that FTR have made a surprise appearance back in AEW. And a lot of people have decided to say, hey, that must be in the back, and have therefore re-signed. However,
have they?
The belief on the, I believe the dirt sheets, if you will, at the time, was that they've signed long-term deals with AEW. That was the word that was going around, and that was the news I was going to report. However...
Haven't you heard?
That's what I heard.
Thought everyone had heard.
But Dax Harwood, on his podcast, I believe, has actually confirmed that they still have 1 month and 18 days left on their contract, or left to decide what they want to do. The contract hasn't been renewed. They haven't got a long-term deal with AEW. They had a call from Tony Khan asking them to come in for the show. They are professionals. They have a lot of respect for Tony. And obviously he has publicly said on the podcast that they're healed up and good to go. So why wouldn't they? So apparently this may not be as cut and dry. However, what I will say is they are notorious trolls.
Well,
in the time that they've been off, they've been making subtle references to, like, a lot of people remember that specific document where you can see the edge of a WWE logo, and it's like, oh, see, they're clearly going back and so on like that. He has been quite clear in his comments that he hasn't made the decision either way. Or they haven't, sorry, he doesn't speak for the pair of them, but FTR haven't made a decision either way, and it's money is a factor, but the factor ultimately is happiness. That's why they left in the first place and headed over there. They have a ton of respect for Tony Khan, but equally he's mentioned they have a lot of respect and they owe a lot to Triple H, so they wouldn't disrespect either of them by trying to play them off for money. It's about happiness. So they haven't made the decision. They are still in the existing contract, and it is still up soon. And Tony, if that is truly the case, not the best idea making them have a return and then not potentially being able to use them, but whatever.
It is fascinating because if they went back to WWE, what tag division are they going back to? Well, it doesn't exist.
This is the funny thing, because he actually mentioned when making his comments that, like, despite what, like, social media and that want to portray, that essentially, Tony Khan has had a big impact on the business. Mm-hmm. And he actually mentioned about WWE stagnating, and they've had to up their game, and they have upped their game. Now, some people may or may not agree with that, but I agree with it for the matter. But that is one area that they haven't upped their game on.
But conversely,
in all fairness,
AEW, who we've previously praised for their execution in the tag division, that's gone a bit like we've got Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and stuff going up.
Exactly. Like, if you were FTR as a tag team, as one of the best tag teams currently in the wrestling business, where the fuck would you go? Because I like, in all fairness, tag team wrestling seems to be a thing that, like, every company struggles with at the moment for some reason. Like, AEW used to be on point with it, but
the glory days are definitely long gone for tag team wrestling, unfortunately. But
such a shame.
Strange, but fascinating that there's only a month and 18 days left. So let's see what happens. Regardless,
I will say, you got to imagine, if WWE make the efforts and get them and they come back, that the idea would be that they want to push their tag division, because bear in mind, like, Kofi I think is injured at the moment, so you've not really got, you've got what, Street Profits, the Usos, I think Alpha Academy are still together at this point, but they need to bolster the tag division to make a decent tag division, so bringing them in I think would hopefully be a clear sign that they're looking to improve that side of things, which would be good.
We will see.
Indeed.
Speaking of things we may or may not see, now Don Callis and Kenny Omega have had a little picture together. Callis posted it on Twitter with the caption, "Our focus is back, be afraid," which many have assumed to mean that Kenny Omega is now going to head back down the singles route. Now, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Revolution, who hasn't by this point, unless you just don't like AEW, of course, but the trios titles were lost by the Elite. Therefore, Are we going to see Young Bucks go back to tags and going to see Kenny go back to singles? Potentially. But especially with the way that this is kind of being framed now, would you like to see Kenny Omega go back to singles?
Yeah.
Is he going to be the next foil for MJF?
I mean, I suppose for me, the reality is they've lost the trios titles. I don't want them to get them back. I want House of Black to have a tear with them because House of Black totally fucking deserve the titles. So you don't really need them to be a trio at this point. I mean, there's nothing to stop them from being buddies and coming out to the ring together and all that bollocks. But as
it's mainly the cool entrance I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah. Carry on my way. All that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But as far as like being a trio in the ring, they don't necessarily need that. So there's no reason he can't go back to singles competition. And he could be a good opponent for MJF. I feel, have we had that before?
I don't know if we actually have.
So I think that could be a really good shout. Yeah. In all fairness, he's proved to have a really good match with Daniel Bryanson, right? I'm sticking with it. Which I think this, I don't know how you felt about it, but I think this helped prove a lot of people that he is a legitimately good wrestler as well. I mean, Bryan is really good at elevating the people he's in the ring with anyway. But
every time we see MJF, I'm always just like, see, he can wrestle. And that's pretty much as he said himself in the post-match, wasn't it? It's like, idiots out there just think he can only talk, but he is really, really, really good. So.
But another fantastic in-ring technician he could go up against would be Omega. They would definitely put on a banger of a match. Yeah. So
they'd only do amazing things for MJF if he can get wins over, obviously, who's he fought so far? Starks, Danielson, and now will be Omega. Yeah. That's a pretty good resume. So
to be fair.
Yeah, fascinating. Maybe we will see Kenny Omega back to singles soon.
Maybe we will. Speaking of people you might see, Carl. Chris Hero, formerly known as Cassius Ono in NXT. I don't think actually really been...
I was going to say, I wish he'd come back to wrestling just so he can have that, oh no.
No. Yeah, it was good.
Oh no.
Oh, right. I thought, because his theme was actually a banger. Yeah. But yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that would be funny.
Anyway, I digress.
Anyway, he hasn't, I don't believe, been seen in the wrestling sense since NXT. It's not like he's been missing, but he hasn't been seen in the wrestling biz since being released or whatever in NXT. However, he's actually been involved with West Coast Pro Wrestling recently. Quite recently seen at one of their events, and it has now been confirmed that he is going to be the promotion's new matchmaker. So yeah, just a quick update on that. But you may not get to see him in the ring anytime soon, but he is certainly still involved in the biz, and obviously he's been in the wrestling business since the 90s, so he's like an absolute asset to them.
Isn't he? So yeah,
I don't know whether he knows anything about animals.
Actually, maybe. So another quick one, which is very much clickbait, because as we do, we say we're going to talk about something, then we read the article and go, oh, it means this. But Ahmed Johnson is coming back, damn it. Back to pro wrestling. The 59-year-old has recently been announced for his first contract signing in several years. And Ahmed Johnson will make a rare appearance at an independent Superstars of Professional Wrestling event in New Jersey yesterday. He's back already. And he was there to sign autographs and take pictures with fans. Did you get one? Let us know in the comments. Wow. This is what happens when you delay the show for a few days.
Sorry.
Old news. But still.
But it's nice to see Ahmed
Johnson. Nice to see him back in the biz.
Brian Cage.
Let's just check. Oh no.
So, and this is as the most recent reports I have anyway. That's there's a belief that he has been offered to continue his contract with AEW, but that he is reluctant to re-up, as the term has been put in here. There's some hesitation on Cage's side, and apparently Jericho is very much advocating for him to continue his deal. Now, as I understand it, his contract was actually due up in January, and he's been given an extension due to timeout due to injury. You know, the typical bollocks that Tony Khan does. So there's been some suggestion there of like a potential, maybe a short-term extension or whichever. But rumour also has it that WWE are very much interested in signing Brian Cage. So he is reluctant to decide on his future just yet, and we do not know where the Cage will go. So how do you feel about this, Carl? What do you think? Do you think he's going to leave AEW? Do you think WWE would be a good suit for him?
He needs to be let out of his cage. Let Cage out of his cage. I don't know, to be honest. He's a freak, and I mean that in the best way, because he's
a genetic
built
freak.
Like a brick shit house, and he's very, very agile. But I always think back to Beyond the Mat. If you haven't checked out our interview with Barry Blaustein, the creator of that film, you should do that. But there's a line in Beyond the Mat where it's kind of like he's too small to be a heavyweight, he's too big to be a flyer, right? And that sums up Cage for me. Where if he goes over to WWE, where do you put him?
And this is the thing, I think WWE had struggled to use him almost as much as AEW have, because they have struggled. FTW Championship sound. Yeah. What else?
But then again, maybe I could be very wrong on this. People may hate me for this. I kind of feel a little bit the same about Bron Breakker.
No, I totally agree. People are like, we're massive on Bron Breakker, but the bottom line is, he's not going to be a main roster guy. Yeah. I hate to say it.
I don't know what it is about him. I don't know. Like he could be a main roster guy.
Standard about him.
He could be a main roster guy. I don't think he can. I can't see him be.
I feel like they dipped the toe in the water having him rock up at was it a SmackDown or whichever. I don't think he's anywhere near ready, and I don't think he'll ever be a main roster guy.
No. I think as well, obviously people love to joke and call it all petite wrestling, don't they? Right? Mm-hmm. But there's still a massive height difference in terms of the main guys in WWE than there is to AEW, right? Yeah. We've met Max. He's similar height to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, whereas if we were to go up against Roman Reigns, not quite the same.
AEW are given the due are not frightened to put somebody like Cage in a main event position. Mm-hmm. Like WWE do it when Rey Mysterio asks. Yeah. Trying to think of other times. To be fair, like there was that, obviously, no disservice to the wrestlers or to the moment, but there was that obviously that moment when we had both Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, who were both, not really classed as tall, both getting to the top. So it's not like WWE are afraid of it, but it's certainly not something they commonly do.
It happened with Danielson, it's happened with AJ Styles, so it can happen, but they've also got, no offense to Cage, they've got a little bit more to their arsenal where they can also talk Arsenal.
Oh, well, this is the Bron Breakker argument again, though. Bron Breakker is no AJ Styles. Yeah. And I don't think he ever will be.
No. It's a tough one. If he re-signs to AEW, are they going to use him? The only place I can see him just going to Ring of Honor. To be honest. But I don't know.
He'd be an asset.
Talented guy, but he just...
I just think, I don't know, like you say...
Do you know what else we haven't seen, just completely off topic, in ages? Lance Archer. What happened to that guy?
He's around. Somewhere.
I remember when these two were like pretty prominent. Now they're just nowhere to be seen.
But yeah, I mean, Cage. Even if you watch some of the stuff he did for AAA and stuff like that, he's an absolutely fantastic, phenomenal wrestler, very talented guy. Like you say, just a freak in terms of like super athletic. Yeah. Especially for his size. So you go, well, I don't know. He's got to do what's best for him. Could it be WWE? I don't know. I just don't know.
Don't want to sound cagey on the topic, but I'm just not sure. Speaking of things I'm not sure of, right? Love to get your thoughts on this.
I don't even know how this is a thing. I'll be honest.
WWE are in talks to legalise betting on predetermined match results, Anthony. What could go wrong? So, obviously, they've entered into a partnership with DraftKings previously, but obviously the laws state that you can't kind of bet on WWE like properly, if you will, just because it's fixed match outcomes. But CNBC are saying that WWE officials are currently in talks with gaming regulators in both Michigan and Colorado, hoping to kind of assuage. Look at that for it. Hey. You go wrestling.
Written by Cody Rhodes.
But yeah, they're basically they're trying the best to make it legal to bet on things like that. But
they're trying their best to make it legal to bet on things that they know the results to.
Yeah, and that they could then see what the odds are and change them results on the fly. Kind of thing.
Have you heard one of the solutions to the problem for them is to sort of lock down creative to only one guy knows what the results are going to be. So creative will then consequently not be able to be as creative because they'd have to limit it to one guy so the news can't get out.
That's it. Well, I mean, what happens if someone just goes into business for themselves in the main event. They bet the house on themselves to win. They're originally down to lose and just go, nah, I'm taking it.
But that's the thing, like, the corruption is so massive to go, like, you can call an audible.
Yeah.
So Vince could rock up and go, make him lose.
Yeah.
So, I put a lot of money on this, make him fucking lose. Well, exactly. Not that Vince had bet on it, but you get me point. Like, okay, Vince had bet. Like, for the man, right, I don't know if Vince is involved, but like, when you consider they spent years trying to go, this isn't a sport.
Yeah.
This isn't a sport. It's entertainment. Give us a tax break, right? That's what they spent years doing. And now we're trying to bet on entertainment?
Yeah.
Can I bet on the Avengers?
Maybe. Can we bet on the Avengers?
I think Thanos is going to win. Like, this is some bullshit, right? Surely.
Yeah.
This should never happen.
I'm baffled. I mean, it's worth noting that they're only in discussions. Those discussions could quite simply be no. So
I like that. Like, did you know I'm in discussions to be a ring announcer for WWE?
Really?
Yeah. I dropped him an email.
Oh, nice. Okay. Just waiting to hear.
It's in discussions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Definitely. The thread has begun. So yeah.
We can make our own headlines with that kind of ability. Anyway, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I don't like it. And the next one. So, Carl, AEW, apparently now agreed a third weekly show with Warner Brothers. This would actually be the fourth overall, but this is the third weekly wrestling show. So they've obviously got this new reality show coming up that's essentially going to replace Road to the Top, if we're honest. They already had a reality show, that kind of stopped because Cody decided not to be in AEW anymore.
I'm going to watch it, by the way. I know you probably won't. I'm going to watch it.
I never watch any of the reality stuff, if I'm honest. There's no disrespect to it, I just never do. So they're going to introduce this. It's like an all-access thing, so they're going to focus on different people at different times where you're going to get to go behind the scenes and all that bollocks. So they've got that reality show coming up. But what they've also agreed, and we haven't got a name for it, is that they're going to have a Saturday night, evening, whatever you want to call it.
Well, you say we haven't got a name for it. Didn't we, last week or the week before, didn't AEW file a trademark for Collision?
To be fair, yeah, but we haven't had a... Okay, I'll give you that.
Maybe it's Collision.
There's been trademarks, but it could be Collision, but we haven't had a confirmed name for the show. But we do know it's going to be Saturdays, and I believe... Is it 6 p.m, did we say?
6:05.
Okay, sure.
What a random time.
Well, we need 5 minutes to digest. The only disappointing thing for me here is that it's only an hour, and I feel like Rampage has proven that... Well, to be fair, Rampage actually started really good.
Started great, didn't it?
But I feel Rampage is showing us right now that we need more time. So I think another hour-long show isn't like... if you give me the option of extending Rampage by an hour, even though it starts at 10, and having a separate 1 hour show, I'd have probably extended the show. But
the interesting thing as well, if it starts at 6 p.m, you ain't going to be getting... It's going to be a more kid-friendly, innit? Let's be fair. True. You're not going to have... Moxley will not be on that show. Literally, guy just walks out and all of a sudden his head just goes... So, you can't be anywhere near that show.
Walks out with a whole fucking dinner set.
But yeah.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
It's interesting, but I kind of agree with you. It's just another hour of TV. And it's a good time slot by all accounts. Like, it's historically wrestling on Saturdays in America and stuff is...
I feel like Tony clearly knows somebody in the network, right? And I'm not saying AEW shouldn't be getting it because, a lot of people are like, they haven't even broken 1 million. Like that's relevant anymore. But, like, he clearly knows one of the networks. I feel like they're just giving him, like, dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you can have it. Like, it's like, well, you can have... Can you do wrestling shorts? We'll give you 15 minutes here and there when we can fit it in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just feels a bit like they've gone, we can give you an hour. You're not getting more than that.
It's a fantastic idea, that, isn't it? Instead of cut down on the commercials and just have ad breaks of wrestling. Yeah. It'd be amazing.
Tony Khan pays for the ad space and it just puts matches on.
Yeah. You could have all the sponsors and stuff around the ring. Genius.
I love the concept. Yeah. I'm trying to watch Justice League here to sift through this.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting decision. Let's see what happens there. And the last one, just again another small one, but just one which I thought was fascinating. So WWE have announced after WrestleMania the next 3 premium live events, Anthony, of which none of them take place domestically in the United States of America.
Not even Backlash?
Nope. Backlash will emanate from Puerto Rico.
Not even Money in the Bank?
And it's going to be hosted by Bad Bunny.
Known for his mic skills.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, to be fair, he's a singer.
And I feel like I was taking a shot at him. I was like, well, actually. Yeah. Damn it.
That backfired. You're going to get a bit of backlash on that one.
Well, what about Money in the Bank?
Well, Money in the Bank, Anthony, as we know, is taking place in London.
Oh, okay. Well, what about...
And King and Queen of the Ring is going to head back to Saudi Arabia.
Can we not work on the title?
Well...
I understand you want to have a Queen of the Ring as well. I'm not an issue with that.
I prefer this to
Can we
Queen's
not have
Crown.
but can you not have a pay-per-view that maybe uses the term I'm trying to think of something that doesn't sound equally shit to prove my point. So it's difficult, right? But instead of having King and Queen of the Ring, which doesn't roll off the tongue, you have ringside, no, not ringside, isn't it? But
Royal
royalty.
Tumble.
I love it.
You put all the names in the tumbler. You get matched up.
You could use the term royal, couldn't you?
You could.
Or something along that line. Yeah. I just feel
Regal. Hosted by William Regal. Yeah, I get what you mean. It is a bit on the nose.
We called it the fucking Royal Tournament or whatever. I don't know. But I don't feel it rolls off the tongue very well.
The thing that bothers me is King of the Ring rhymed. And now it's like King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
If anything, call it Queen and King of the Ring, at least.
Yeah, because then it still has that end.
But look, I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it? At the end of the day,
Actually, you know what? Now the more I think about it, that's they've put misogyny over a title making more sense.
Yeah,
we can't put the Queen first.
Well, exactly. Just do that, and it sounds better. But
I kid, of course.
I get it. We can't
in wrestling.
We have King of the Ring tournaments now for women, so it makes sense to have something to acknowledge that. But yeah, it's not quite the same, is it?
Or maybe drop the whole royal thing and think of it.
The thing is, anyway, you know how much I love the whole King of the Ring concept with the brackets and everything like that. But if whoever wins it comes out with a king or queen gimmick, then it's fucked anyway. So,
I mean, that's a fair point. If we drop the whole king and queen thing completely, we can still have a tournament bracket for both the men and the women, and not have a stupid fucking gimmick.
I've been saying for ages, this should take place in May, June, and the winner should get the title shot for SummerSlam.
I like it.
That would make so much sense, right? You get all this Rumble for Mania, and then King of the Ring for SummerSlam.
Can't call it King of the Ring.
King, Queen of the Ring, Queen and King of the Ring. Why didn't they call it?
It's just better. It's so much easier.
So yeah, but fascinating though. I guess it shows both the revenue. I mean, we saw how much Money in the Bank tickets were.
Mm-hmm.
So literally money in the fucking bank. They're making bank on them. But
I didn't realise the briefcase was actually going to be full of fucking money.
So yeah, you can see why WWE are keen to explore these foreign markets, because clearly it does very well for them. So
especially right now, because as fans in the UK, we're thirsty bitches, aren't we? We're like, anything we can get, give us.
It's true.
So
So yeah, interesting to say the least. But yeah, that was it. That was the news. A little bit behind on some of them, but hey, we've got to do a show on Wednesday as well. If we put all the latest stuff in there, then what are we going to talk about on Wednesday?
So back off.
Yeah. But we know you enjoyed it anyway, because it's us and you love us. And did you enjoy it on YouTube, or did you enjoy it on Pro Wrestling TV? Either is fine. But if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like this.
Why not both?
Stuff. Not the notification bell though. Don't be a bad notification bell.
Hey.
And turn that on. Just watch us when you want.
Such a scouse.
Check out Pro Wrestling TV as well if you can. There's amazing stuff on there, including us. I'll say including, not as well as us. Because last time I said that, you were like, are you implying we're not amazing? But obviously, if you've got to this part of the show, then you must like us a bit.
I guess so.
Unless you've forwarded it all the way to the end to see something, then
see how they fuck it up this time.
Yeah. So yeah, check us out on either YouTube or Pro Wrestling TV, and you can listen to us as well. Don't forget about that. So yeah,
available on. You can actually watch us on Spotify now. Did you know that? You can.
And did you know Spotify have taken over Anchor?
Yes,
fully now.
Yeah. Anchor just doesn't.
So it's not even Anchor, it's just
which is nice.
Spotify for podcasts.
It swings and roundabouts. It's still exactly the same for us, but yeah, you can actually. Spotify tried to bring in video podcasts.
Yeah.
So
watch us on there. Watch us on Spotify. What a world!
Watch us. You can listen to us. You can listen to us everywhere else, podcast wise.
Yeah.
Or just tune into Pro Wrestling TV.
Yeah, all of them. Obviously, summer's coming up. What you need in summertime? T-shirts. So you can get ours from Pro Wrestling Tees, including the latest designs from our friends at Wrestling Tees. You can find on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So until next time.
Now, what else you need in the summertime, Carl?
Oh God!
You need some fucking beer.
I know. It's because I'm drinking water tonight.
I know, yeah, we haven't got the alcohol.
But Top Rope Tuesday will be back this week. We'll have another fun one. But get yourself 10% off of their latest flavours.
Indeed.
And yeah.
Tons of fun, enjoyable beers there. But obviously we will reveal Top Rope Tuesday this week and discuss that more in depth on Thursday, Wednesday.
Yes, we will. Thursday, Wednesday. And until then, we will say goodbye.